kitchen. So many recipes to share. So many cooks in the kitchen with meals for you to prepare. We've got fruits and grains, veggies and beans, more healthy food than you've ever seen. So many cooks in the kitchen, plant-based meals to prepare. So many cooks in the kitchen with ideas we're happy to share.
Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to our February show of So Many Cooks in the Kitchen. Our show is called So Many Loving Dishes, and we kept the definition open so that each of the cooks could do what they wanted. My name is Dilla Barman. I don't usually record from home, but I'm in my home in North Carolina, and welcome to the show. Some of you have been watching us for a long time, so welcome back, and maybe we'll have some new viewers. So if you're new, let us know where you're from. We're so happy you're here to watch us. We've been doing these shows for more than 5 years. We go kitchen to kitchen. All of us are Physicians Committee Food for Life instructors. And so we teach classes that are focused on healthy, whole food, plant-based, vegan cooking. So today, with Valentine's Day, so I hope Valentine's Day is going well for you, we have so many loving dishes. And I thought for a while of what I would make, and I decided to make a chocolate mousse. There's a lot of nice recipes for chocolate mousse, and the basic recipe is you use tofu, and you want to get one of these shelf-stable tofus, which you can see right here. It's already open, so I don't want it to dump out. So one of these shelf-stable tofus, you want an extra firm silken tofu, and the basic recipe is you blend it with chocolate. Let's see if this is cooled down a bit, so I can hold it. This is melted chocolate in a double burner, and I'll talk about that in just a second. It's not really a double burner, but I'm doing a makeshift one. So the recipe basically is for chocolate and tofu and some sort of sweetener. What I use for sweetener is I use soaked dates and jam. So we have a number of us cooking today for Valentine's Day, and I hope we give you some good ideas. You can eat really well, which we do, and stick with plant foods and stick with really nice plant foods that are reasonably healthy. One day I'm thinking maybe even this year we should really do a chocolate show. So I know I'm using chocolate, but I have lots of other ideas. I came up with a really neat idea about a month and a half ago about hot chocolate in the Vitamix, the blender, which I don't know why I didn't think of before. It makes a really nice hot chocolate. So if we do a chocolate show, I have lots of more ideas. So certainly binging on chocolate isn't the best idea, but chocolate, I'm just referring to my notes to make sure I don't miss anything, is a good choice. A little bit of chocolate can be healthy, especially if it's free of animal products and it has a high cacao bean content. I should have grabbed some cacao bean. I actually a couple weeks ago, my brother went to Central America and he brought back some fresh cacao, and right in front of them, he took a video. They crushed the cacao and packaged it for me. He asked what I wanted. I said, I'd love some fresh cacao, so some organic cacao bean. So when you have cacao and you have minimal extra ingredients like milk, we're going to be using some plant milk or sugar or sweeteners, then, cacao bean is rich in antioxidants and theobromine, which helps you feel good. And the nice thing when you don't have a lot of sweeteners is you get that natural feel-good feeling. A lot of people, when they don't feel good, like to eat some chocolate, but you don't get that quick letdown. So eating cacao beans is really good. It's just over there. I wish I had grabbed some for the show. And it helps reduce blood pressure. It opens your blood vessels. It increases your immune response. And it can enhance memory and give you an overall sense of feeling good. So just avoid a lot of chocolate bars, things that are heavily sweetened, but a little bit of cacao, a little bit of chocolate actually can be healthy. So I've seen lots of recipes in the Food for Life program, the kids curriculum. We actually have a recipe that I've done many, many times, which calls for sweetener. And even that one, I've modified it to use jam. Other recipes call for maybe coconut sugar or for monk fruit, which I like using. But the recipe I've come up with, kind of inspired by all these other recipes, it's easy to find. A chocolate mousse recipe. I've kind of made this my own. So it's easy to make. I'm going to grab my, you're going to need a milk, and I chose to use this flax milk. I like to get unsweetened. I like unsweetened things because you can always add sweetener. So I like flax milk. Flax is high in antioxidants as well, so it's a great choice. I'm going to move this away from the shot. I've already poured the milk here, and I don't know if you can see it in the camera. There's a splotch, and that's because I've already poured some vanilla. So I put some vanilla extract. I've also prepared some dates. I used, the recipe is available to you. I used, I think, a half dozen dates, five large pitted dates, and I put boiling water in it and let it sit. Half an hour is enough. It's actually been sitting for a couple hours, and it's really soft. Sometimes when a lot of recipes that use dates call for soaking the dates in boiling water, and I often skip it because I'm running tight. What do I want to make? I want to make that pudding. Let's go. You don't have to soak the dates, but it does soften the dates. So I have some pitted dates that have been soaking. I also have a jam, and if my friend Kate is watching, Kate gave this to my family as a holiday gift. She made this homemade jam. So this recipe calls for a jam. So thank you, Kate. I'm using yours. I'm also using some bittersweet chocolate chips. I tell you, there was another brand when I bought this yesterday on sale, 2 for the price of 1, and it's another good brand. But I still preferred this. It smells so good. Because its first ingredient is chocolate liqueur. And you want something organic chocolate liqueur, organic cane sugar, it is sweetened, organic cocoa butter, and organic cocoa powder. It has very few ingredients, and it has a 70% cacao content, and that's what you want. You want a high percentage of cacao. So what I did, and again, you need tofu. You can optionally use a little bit of cinnamon. I'm a big fan for cinnamon. Honestly, cinnamon in this doesn't taste great, but I'm going to put just a little bit. Cinnamon helps mitigate your glycemic index. It helps slow down the sugar content into your blood. So if I can use an excuse for using cinnamon, I do. Go light on it because it's not the best flavor with what I'm making, okay? So there's that. I'm also going to use this silken tofu. It's shelf stable. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. For some reason, I don't know why, we have a good variety of food choices here. We have lots of great grocery stores. This used to be readily available in organic. I tried to buy all organic, but I couldn't find organic when I shopped for this. I don't know why. So I do prefer organic. And you can see I'm going to dump this out into the blender in a second. So what I've done before showtime is I don't have a double boiler. When you melt chocolate, I don't like using microwaves, but you can use the microwave if you are a microwave user. You put your chocolate chips. I put all the chocolate chips in the pan. And to make it easy, some recipes call for different amounts of chocolate chips, but bags usually come in 10 ounces. So I modified the recipe over years to make it just be one bag. Because what are you going to do if it calls for 8 ounces or 12 ounces? Then you have to have some extra chips or get 2 bags. So I modified the recipe to use one whole bag. So you can put the bag in the microwave and turn the microwave on. I've never done that, so I don't know how that works, but I think that's a common way to melt chocolate. You can put it in a pan, but then you risk scorching the chocolate. And many of us love chocolate, but burnt chocolate just doesn't taste good. So I don't have a double boiler, but I did an ad hoc one. I have some mitts handy, but by now I turned the heat off about 10 minutes ago. I can actually hold it. What I did is I put the chocolate chips in one pan, and the other pan, the larger pan, has water. And I boiled the water. When it came to a boil, I put this pan in, and you can see it's melted. I turned the heat off. That's why it's not flowing. Let me go ahead and turn the heat on just for a minute while I'm talking, just to make it a little bit easier to empty the pan. Actually, I changed my mind because then I'll have to use my mitts. I like the fact that it's cooled down a bit. So just a minute ago, you would have seen that this flows, but it's still really soft. Look at that. Melted chocolate, right? So it's fine. I don't need to reheat it. It's a little swish. And I'm reminded of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It certainly smells great. If you're familiar with this story, this is like the chocolate river. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Vitamix container. You can use any blender. And I'm going to put all the ingredients in no particular order. So I'll put the chocolate in at the end. Since it's all getting mixed, I'm not going to clean the spoon. I'm going to go ahead and take my dates. And what I'm going to do is it's been soaking in water. I'm going to leave the water behind, but I'm not going to discard the water. Does anybody know why? because the water is sweet. And when I'm done with this, I'll sample it. And if it needs a little bit more sweetness, I'll put some date water. Or if it needs to be a little bit more flowy, a little bit more liquidy. So there go the dates. Again, it's nice to soak them. They get really soft, but you don't have to soak them. Oftentimes when I cook, I'm kind of doing just-in-time things. So there's the dates, leaving the date water behind for now. Here is my friend Kate's homemade jam. So I'm going to put the jam in. That gives me some nice sweetness. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the bowl. I'm going to add the milk. This is the flax milk, and I've already put vanilla in it as well. Okay, so there goes the flax milk. And all the quantities, the measurements are available to you in our recipe document. And thanks to Brenda Davis, who always does an appendix, and she does an amazing job. So we're very pleased that she does that. I'm going to add just a hint of cinnamon. I don't really want the flavor to come through, but I like the health benefits. And I like a nuanced flavor. If a little bit of cinnamon comes through, just a little bit is fine. So I'm going to just do maybe a pinch or two. Okay, that's maybe a 1/4 teaspoon, or actually it's probably 1/8 of a teaspoon. Just a tiny bit of cinnamon, really just for the health benefits. One good thing about cooking from home, I often don't, because I have to organize my kitchen and clean it just right, is I have all my ingredients here. And then I'm going to add the tofu. Again, this is the silken tofu. I've cut it open. I always rinse the package before cutting it because it's been in the store. So before cutting it, because the tofu might come in contact when I dump it. So if you've never seen silken tofu, I'm going to dump it out. Maybe I should put it in a bowl, but I'll just dump it straight into the Vitamix. And there it goes. And you can see it's different from the tofu that you might be familiar with from a main course. So let's get all the tofu out. Okay. And that's the silken tofu. I don't know how many of you guys have used silken tofu. This is what it looks like, the silken tofu. So it's more homogeneous and it's smoother than the kind of tofu you'd use at dinner. Okay, so there's the tofu. One thing, I do have a metal spoon. Be careful. I know that I'm temporarily putting the spoon in the bowl. Don't temporarily put it in your blender, because if you forget, that would be disastrous. So I'm particularly careful with my blender. So here's the second thing of tofu. Again, the recipes are in your handout. Okay, I like recipes where it uses all of the ingredients instead of, half a box of the tofu or something like that. Because for me, silken tofu goes best with this kind of dish, and not so much for a main course. You could make a scrambled tofu out of it, but I like the more typical water-packed tofu. Okay, so I'm getting rid of ingredients to clean up the space, putting my vanilla in the cabinet where it belongs, and I have the date water on hold if I need it. And now let's go ahead and get another spatula. I'm going to transfer the chocolate. Be careful. If you just melted it, you're going to want to use mitts. And I had some mitts handy, but I think I can get away without the mitts. It's cooled down. And I'm going to go ahead and dump this wonderful chocolate into my blender. Okay. Flows so nicely. If I used mitts and it came right out of the double boiler, then it would flow even faster. But that's okay. I think this was a good compromise so I can hold the pan. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, the sides of the pan are fine, so my blender won't react badly to the heat. I'm going to turn it towards me just to make it easier. So I'm going to scoop out the chocolate. Okay, here it comes. It smells really good. Again, this is a semi-sweet chocolate. If what you end up having is a sweetened chocolate, then cut back on, maybe skip the dates and maybe use a little bit less jam. I tell you, I like the jam a lot because the jam adds notes of fruit. This is not a raspberry jam, but I'm very thankful to my friend Kate for having made this for me. This will do just fine. But if I had a choice for this particular dish, I like a raspberry jam, especially. There are a few varieties of raspberry that have less seeds. And if you can get one of those, then that would be nice. But the blender will break up the seeds to some extent. Okay? Okay, so there's the chocolate. There's a tiny bit left. That's for after the show, or after my segment, where I'll lick it. Very nice. Excuse me just a second. Okay. So we're done. We just have to blend. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. When I blend, I have things handy in case I need to move things around. There's my spatula. So I'm going to blend it, and sorry, it's going to be really loud. And you don't have to use a Vitamix. You can use any kind of blender you'd like. Okay, I'm going to pause there. It looks well blended, but I'm going to kind of get the ingredients from the side down. It looks thicker than a milkshake. You couldn't drink this, but not quite as thick as you would expect a mousse to be. The recipe really that I put together suggests that you put it in the refrigerator. Some people put mousses in the freezer for a short while. I've never done that. I don't like the idea of freezing mousse because tofu does change its texture when it's frozen, so I've never done that. Actually, I stand corrected. One of the schools I teach at, we made this and we ate it just a few minutes later, so we threw it in the freezer for 5 minutes. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to serve it. Okay? So here goes. Done. Our dish is done. So let me get a bowl to try it with. If you plan this, what you should do is put this in the refrigerator, if you have the time, a couple hours, overnight if you'd like. But even half an hour makes a difference. This is still going to taste good. It's not runny, but when you put it in the refrigerator, it'll be even less so. This is not runny. This is fine. But the benefit of the refrigerator is it lets the flavors really get married better, and it gives it a stronger texture. I don't think it's necessary though. So let me go ahead and, where's my spatula? I don't have it, so I will just I'll use this. Okay. So I'm going to serve, look at that. How's that look? And if I were doing this for a party, I would actually just serve myself a spoonful and sample it and decide, does it need some more sweetener? Then I can add some date liquid. What I do is, here's a little bit. I'm going to put some fruit on top. Raspberries or strawberries go great, but we have lots of blueberries in stock, so I thought I'd use blueberries. Let's put a couple blueberries on top. Okay, and there's my Valentine's chocolate mousse. Let me give it a try. The first spoonful without the fruit. It's amazing. It's so good. And I say amazing not to brag about my prowess. I did very little. It's the ingredients, good quality ingredients, organic chocolate, mainly cacao. The sweetener is just right. It's just right. Now, I don't have a sweet tooth as much as some people do. You can put some of the date liquid in. It'll make it a little bit more flowy. But of course, if you refrigerate it, that'll recongeal. That's very good. I haven't made this in a while. I need to make this more regularly. One downside about this, it's very healthy. It has all the benefits of tofu and calcium. It is heart healthy, cancer fighting. But the disadvantage is some people, my wife can't eat tofu. It bothers her digestion. So this is a great dish for my daughter and me, but not my wife. I have to figure out a way to make a pudding. And in fact, Janin is presenting next from Abu Dhabi. She's going to be making some sort of pudding. I can't remember what it is. And if it doesn't have tofu, maybe that's something my wife can enjoy. This is really good. When I teach a version of this for children, they love it. So with that, thank you for watching So Many Cooks in the Kitchen. I'm only the first presenter. Next is Janin, and we have some giveaways. After we're all done, I'll clean up. I'll be back. Ask questions anytime. I probably won't see your questions for a few minutes. I'm going to clean up, but I'll be in front of the computer. And at the end, after all the presenters, we'll have a Q&A session and answer questions. Ask questions anytime, but questions that come during Q&A qualify for our giveaways. So look forward to seeing what you have to say about my segment and about other segments. So with that, Janin, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my kitchen in Abu Dhabi. It's February, Valentine's Day. And thanks, Dilip, for your introduction and your amazing chocolatey recipe, very appropriate for the Valentine feeling. And I'm going to do something which is also sweet. Apart from Valentine's Day, it is Heart Health Month, and I just wanted to remind everybody that whole food plant-based diet, which is rich in fiber, low in fat, high in nutrients, is very good for heart health. As long as being good for our overall health, it's also good for our heart health because it reduces or eliminates inflammation, gets rid of the saturated fats that are common with animal-based foods, and we benefit much more from it, also from our gut health, through the bacterial actions in reducing inflammation, which is the basis for most of our chronic diseases these days. But for heart health, apart from amazing nutrition, we should also really care for our sleep, stress management, meaningful relationships, and exercise, of course, very important. Avoiding risky substances such as cigarettes and too much alcohol. And these are basically the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. And if we can really apply all 6 in our daily lives, we will surely have a stronger health, but also stronger overall. Today I always have my little cheat sheet here so I don't forget to talk about things. And I just want to let you know that I've made a pudding. It's a very easy pudding, but it being a pudding, I started it yesterday. This is a no cooking required, basically chia pudding. It's very easy. You mix chia seeds with a plant-based milk, which I use almond milk this time. I was able to find an organic one which had no emulsifiers, believe it or not. And emulsifiers are not really good for our gut health, which then has ripple effects for our overall health. So I was very excited to buy this one. So basically you mix chia seeds, which are gone. I need to buy some more. You mix chia seeds with your preferred plant-based milk and add a little bit of vanilla. And this time I added some maple syrup because it's Valentine's Day. I wanted it to be sweeter. And the vanilla, and basically you mix it and then put it in your favorite container or serving dish. Refrigerate it overnight, or 4 or 5 hours is also good. You can make it in the morning and have it for dinner, and your pudding is ready. I do one extra step, and that is to put my plant-based milk and the chia seeds into a high-speed blender because my husband doesn't like to eat chia seeds that have bubbled up. But if I high-speed blend it, he eats it as a smooth pudding and doesn't complain. So this time being Valentine's, I did it in the high-speed blender. And as you can see, it's gelled completely and ready to be taste tested. So apart from just having the pudding, today I made also a raspberry coulis. It's a fancy way of saying like a raspberry, thin raspberry puree. I used frozen raspberries because those were more readily available. It's sort of suggested that you should be using fresh fruit. And this is raspberry, but you can do it with blueberries, strawberries, peaches, apricots. You can do a coulis with any any fruit you like. Flowers are calling me because the other day I gave a Food for Life presentation on heart health to my girlfriends. And I was lucky to receive not one, not two, but 3 bouquets of flowers. I put just one here. They're beautiful. And I'm just the happiest girl. So back to the coulis. I cooked the raspberries for about 10 minutes and I added orange juice. So to a coulis, you generally add lemon juice as to give it a balance between the sweetness of the fruit and to provide a little bit of acidity. Raspberries don't really need so much lemon, but I felt some orange juice with its sweetness would help to balance the tartness of the raspberries. And like I said before, because it's Valentine's Day, I also added a little bit of maple syrup to the mix. So you cook your fruit with the lemon juice, or in this case, the orange juice, for about 10 minutes until the fruit really, gets soft and splattery. And then you add your vanilla to it to give a little bit of that vanilla goodness. And then you let it cool. So now it's completely cool. All of this would have taken much longer than my allotted time. So I have it all ready, but I'll do the last bit. And then you put your fruit into a sieve. It's here. And that's basically, actually, the root of the word coulis comes from the Latin collare, which means to put it through the colander, I guess, to sieve. That's what it is. And you sieve it through. It should be thicker. I must admit mine is not as thick as I want it to be. But it'll have to do. You can't win each time. So of course you can also put all of this into a high-speed blender and blend it until smooth, which probably I should do later instead of having this fruit waste, which I hate. But I wanted to show to you the process of making a coulis. So here it is. I will and yet as much as the fine pulp as possible. So all the seeds are gathering in the sieve, and as much as possible, the cooked fruit is coming through the sieve. Of course, if you had put it into a high-speed blender, you would get also the goodness of the nutrition in the seeds, which are always full of all sorts of wonder. The seeds are like fruit eggs or vegetable eggs. They are full of life and good nutrition, usually, except you don't want to eat too many almond seeds. They have quite a lot of almond apricot seeds. They have quite a lot of cyanide in them, which would not be very good. So this is going thicker because of the pulp coming through. Anyhow, you will get the gist of it. You do this until all of it is gone. And I chose raspberries today because of the red color. I thought it would go well for a Valentine's dessert. But in the past, I've also done it with apricots. And apricots with a little bit of tang turned into a very good coulis, which goes deliciously with my chocolate ganache torte, which I learned in cooking school. And it's I don't know if you've ever had the famous Austrian Sachertorte, which is a chocolate cake, basically, very thick chocolate cake. Between the layers, there's this apricot jam, their secret recipe. But I sort of worked it out in my all plant-based chocolate ganache torte, which also I learned in cooking school. I served it with apricot coulis, and by golly, it was really like the amazing. Okay, I'm gonna put this here, like the amazing Zahar torte. So this is. It will get thicker if I take more of the pulp, but we're running out of time. I don't want to waste the entire. So, and then I'm gonna just put this over here. Ta-da! On top. And my dessert is ready. So if you want to go an extra step and make this even funner, you can basically take this coulis, add to it chia seeds, and overnight it. But before that, add this chia seeds and then pour it over and put the two things back in the fridge. And then this also gels, and it's really good fun. But for today, we are happy with this, and I'm going to give it a taste test. First, I want to taste all the raspberry goodness with a little bit of sweetness from the maple syrup and the orange juice. And when you get the two together, wait a second. I don't think I can stop eating it. All right, I better. This is yummy. I hope you try it at home and adjust it to your liking and enjoy it and have a very happy Valentine's Day today. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Oh, and before I leave, of course, I pass it on to Caroline in Montgomery, Alabama. So we're going like thousands of miles across the skies over to the United States. Bye from Abu Dhabi. Ma salam.
Hi, thanks. That looks great. And I can't wait to try to make it. I'm Carolyn Strickland, and I'm a Food for Life instructor in Montgomery, Alabama. And it's Valentine's Day. So I am making something we love, and also something that's a great pairing, makes a great couple. Sweet potatoes and black beans are a great couple. And what could be more loving than having dinner ready for your family when they get home? So very loving meal because it's a quick weeknight dinner, especially if you already have the brown rice fixed, and you can buy a lot of these things already cut up, sweet potatoes and red bell pepper. I'm using a can of black beans. You can use a lot of things that are in cans, so it makes it a lot faster. So this is a sweet potato black bean skillet. So we're using one pan and everything in this pan. You can eat it just like this, or we'll also make a quick cheese sauce too. So I've started by preheating the pan, and I'm going to dump in one nice medium-sized sweet potato. It's a sweet potato. And we're going to dump it in and let that start to cook a little bit. I do have red bell pepper too. I got those confused, sweet pepper and sweet potato. Okay, so I also have a red bell pepper that I'm going to put in just a minute, but we want that sweet potato cooking first. So the pan is nice and hot, and I'm adding a little bit of water to kind of start it steaming, and then I'm putting the lid on it to let it cook for a few minutes. And while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and start making the cheese sauce. So this is a cheese sauce recipe from forks over knives. This is not my recipe, but it's a good cheese sauce. Just, you know, you don't have to put cheese sauce on this when it's done, but it's a nice thing to drizzle over the top of it. So this is a cup of whole rolls oats, a fourth of a cup of nutritional yeast, a couple tablespoons of cornstarch, and some salt. Okay. And remember, all your recipes are on the recipe document. So this is all dry. So I'm just going to actually whirl it up into a powder. All right, that's pretty powdery. Okay, and then the rest of the ingredients are 7 ounces of roasted red bell pepper. So it's already roasted. And I actually had a 14-ounce jar of it. I think they also come in 7-ounce jars, but this is a 14-ounce jar. I just used half the jar. So 7 ounces of roasted red bell pepper, a couple tablespoons of minced onion, some vinegar. So this is apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a couple dashes of your favorite hot sauce. I'm using Tabasco Chipotle. There we go. I like I like spicy stuff, obviously. And I already added the salt, so we got the nutritional yeast. And then the thing that makes it really liquidy is I have a couple of cups of water, really, really hot water. So I already boiled it, but it's 2 cups. And I'm going to pour that over the top. And then, because it's really hot liquid, you do want to vent. You want to vent the top, so it's not just going to build up steam. All right, and we'll whirl that up on kind of a low speed for now. So it seems to be pretty well blended, but it needs to blend a little bit more. First, I'm going to check the sweet potatoes and see how they're doing. Oh yeah, they're coming along. Whoa, I lost one. One got away. Come back. Okay, there we go. They're getting there. So we want to just get them mostly cooked through. Oops, I lost another one. The dog will enjoy that. There he goes. He loves sweet potato. Okay. A little bit more water, put that back on to steam a little more, and we'll go back to the sauce and see if we can get that whirling a little faster. All right, it's getting there, and it has cornstarch in it, so the longer you let it whirl, the more thick it'll get as it gets hot. So, and that's why we added the hot water to it too, to help thicken it out. So we'll come back to that in a second. All right, let me check how the sweet potatoes are doing. Oh, they're looking good. Okay, they're getting there. A little bit longer, I think. And I'm going to go ahead and add the red bell pepper. So it's 1 big red bell pepper. And that's been diced. And then 1 jalapeno pepper, which was a really big jalapeno pepper. And that's minced. And that is totally optional. So if you don't want minced jalapeno in it, if you're just not into spicy food, then you can leave that out completely fine. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll turn it up just a little bit. and add a little bit more water. You could also, use low sodium vegetable broth instead of water if you would prefer. So far, it's pretty colorful. Right. Oh, yeah, that looks good. All right, we're going to let that cook for just another minute. Turn the heat up under it just a little bit and go back to the sauce. All right, that's starting to thicken up pretty nicely. Okay, let's check our sweet potatoes and red bell pepper and jalapenos again. Oh yeah, they're looking pretty good. They're getting there. Okay. Sure smells good. While that's cooking, let me talk a little bit about the spices, the seasonings we're going to put into it. So add a little more water so it doesn't stick. So we're adding chipotle powder or chili powder, your choice. I like spicy things, so I'm using chipotle powder. You could just use regular chili powder. There's also some dried oregano leaves. There's dried ground cumin. There's smoked paprika, which gives everything a really nice smoky flavor, and I just love it. It's one of my favorite spices. And then garlic powder. We'll also be adding black beans, cooked brown rice, 2 cups of already cooked brown rice, 1 cup of cooked, and actually these were frozen and then thawed corn kernels. We have the canned black beans. We have a can of mild green chilies diced, one of those little 4-ounce containers that you can find in almost every grocery store. Either salsa or, some kind of sauce. What I'm doing is either regular salsa or salsa verde. So I'm going with salsa verde, which is made with tomatillos. And then it also has the juice of a lime and a couple tablespoons of chopped fresh cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, you can leave it out. That's totally fine. All right. Oh, that's looking really good. Okay. The sweet potatoes are what we're waiting for, because the peppers, that works pretty well even if they're still a little crunchy. The sweet potatoes are what we want to cook all the way through. So they're getting there. You add a little more water to it. And then put the lid back on to keep the heat in, to help steam them in there just a little bit more. While I go back to the sauce one more time. All right, I think that sauce is pretty well done. Let's take a look at it. Oh yeah, it could probably be a little bit thicker. The longer you whirl it up and it's nice and hot and steamy, then it's actually going to get thicker. You could also pour it into a pan on the stove and thicken it up that way too, and let it cook for a little bit. Okay, let's check. Oh yeah, I think that's ready. Okay. So now we get to add all the fun stuff. So we have our seasonings. So chipotle or chili powder. Sprinkle that over. And some oregano. And some cumin. Garlic powder. You could probably also use just a clove of garlic too in the cooking part with the jalapenos. Smoked paprika. And then maybe a little bit of pepper, just black pepper. If you want to, you could add a pinch of salt. I always make sure I have iodized sea salt. And then just sprinkle a little bit on top. And then we're adding the brown rice. There we go. Already cooked brown rice. Get it all out of there. And the beans, which I already rinsed and drained the beans. So it's 1 can of black beans rinsed and drained. You could substitute pinto beans if you want to. A cup of corn that was frozen that I thawed. 1 little 4-ounce can of diced green chilies. There you go. Get a lot out of there. And then the salsa verde, 1/2 cup of that. Okay. And juice of a lime. You could also probably throw in the lime zest if you want to. And a couple of tablespoons of chopped cilantro if you like cilantro. Absolutely leave it out if you don't. All right. There's lots of other things you could put in here. What can you think of that you would put in it? If you have some other suggestions of things to add, go ahead and put them in the comments. All right, look how beautiful this is as it comes together. What a beautiful dish. Everything in one skillet. And dinner is ready. Look at that. Oh, yum. Yum, yum, yum. So if you want to, you could actually scoop this up and serve it in a rolled up tortilla. That could be really good with some of the cheese sauce drizzled over the top. Or maybe add some fresh lime slices. Add more chopped fresh cilantro to the top if you want to. Some chopped avocado. There's all kinds of yummy things you could put with this. Okay, so look how delicious. So for a nice weeknight meal, or even a Saturday afternoon meal, this could be something that you would serve to someone you love because it is Valentine's Day. I'm gonna get out a fork. I can find a fork. There we go. And going to serve this to someone I love because it's Valentine's Day. Here we go. Come taste it. To my Valentine. Here we go.
Oh,
You want to taste it? Oh, we have to drizzle a little cheese sauce over it too. So swing. Yeah. Really needs to be a little thicker, but that's pretty good. Okay. Take them. What do you think?
That's great.
Yeah?
You're my bean.
I'm your bean? Okay.
Am I your sweet potato?
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm the black bean and he's the sweet potato. Maybe I'm the sweet potato and you're the black bean. You're wearing more black. So there you go. Yep. Sweet potatoes and black beans. They go great together. They make a great couple.
And it's got a kick to it.
And it's got a kick. That's what we like. Spicy love on Valentine's Day. All right. So I hope you do try this at home. Play with your food. Add other ingredients if you can think of some other things you might put into it. But yeah, it's a really nice weeknight, one skillet meal. So, and do remember to ask a question during Q&A so you can be entered into the prize drawing. And with that, I'm going to send us over to Cody, I think. So take it away, Cody. Thanks.
Hi, Carolyn. Happy Valentine's Day, you guys. It's great to see you again, and that dish looks so delicious. Thanks for sharing that recipe with us. Hi, everybody. I'm Cody Stubbe, and this is Nora Stubbe, and we're in Omaha, Nebraska. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to make peanut butter bites, and that's just such a fun little delicious recipe, isn't it, that we like? And I think Nora's going to give me some assistance today, so bonus, right? Do you want to tell everybody who we have behind us on the shelf?
This is Honey.
This is Honey. What is Honey?
She's my Valentine's box that we made together.
So Valentine's box that we made together, it's a Minecraft theme, right? Yep, that was fun, wasn't it? All right, well, we're going to get started here. We got just a few lovely ingredients here, very healthy. We'll start with some oats. It's nice to have your help today. Dump them all in there. Okay, good job. One thing done. All right, then we have some shredded unsweetened coconut, because we're sweet enough, right? That's a joke. All right, just dump it all in there. It's all good. Good job. Thank you. All right, then we have ground flax seed. So this is what flax seeds look like when you get them whole. You can get different brands, but this is one that I like. This is organic, and you have to grind them up. So I just have like a little blender, little hand blender that I use for that. Works really good. If you don't blend them up, they're not gonna thicken and stick to other stuff as easily. So you have to do that. And plus, you want to do that because you want to get the omega-3 fatty acids out of them, which are very healthy for you, for your heart. It helps with blood pressure, helps with inflammation. So it's a wonderful addition to this recipe. So with that said, we also have chia seeds. Chia seeds also have omega-3s. You want to put those in there for me? And they're so cute, aren't they?
They look like tiny little petals.
Cute. Very nice. Thank you. All right. Then we have, what's this? Maple syrup?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you want to dump it? Me too. Okay. So I'll dump the maple syrup in.
I'm going to do the chocolate chips.
Okay, we'll do those in a minute here. Chocolate chips are kind of last.
Okay.
All right, we have some peanut butter. So just get your favorite peanut butter. Try and do that one that just has peanuts in it. You don't want to get any extra added oils to it, so or sugar or any additional salt to it. You don't need any of that. The maple syrup will sweeten up this recipe just perfectly. Always good to get it all out, isn't it? Peanut butter's just one of the stickiest things, isn't there? Okay.
But it's delicious.
And it is delicious. And then we have some pure vanilla extract. Okay, do you want to dump this or me too?
I want to dump it.
Okay, flip it over. Flip it. There we go.
That's vanilla.
Smells good, doesn't it?
Peanut butter.
Okay.
Vanilla peanut butter.
I know. Let's get the dishes here. Guess we probably need this again. All right, let's get the lid on here. We'll mix it a little bit and then we'll add the chocolate chips in, okay? I don't want to chop up the chocolate chips too much. And these are dairy-free chocolate chips. They're mini ones. I like mini ones when you're doing little bites, right? Yep. Okay. Turn it on here. You want to step over this way just a little bit? Not right here. There you go. Do you want to hit, you can hit this one. Yeah, hold it. Whoop. There you go. Hold it. Okay, let me open it up and I'm going to stir it down a little bit. We want this mixed up until it kind of forms a dough, till the oats kind of get chopped up.
I think the chocolate is
Yeah, they're looking pretty good. I'm going to do a little more because it looks like the coconut still needs a little bit chopped to go. So we're going to stir that a little bit. It smells so good. Can you smell it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Big peanutty and vanilla.
Yeah. You want to hold it down again?
Yeah.
Okay. trying to get my finger off of it.
Yeah.
You're so funny. Okay, that's looking like a nice little dough. Let me stir it one more time, and then we'll throw the chocolate chips in, okay? And then I'll let you mix those up. Sound
Okay.
good? Mmm. Okay, I like to make it nice. And all right, you want to sprinkle those around inside? You can just kind of use the bowl if you want.
So we get
Yeah. You're a good helper, you know that? Okay. This should be the last time. Do you want to hold it down this
No.
time? No?
No.
Okay. Okay, that's maybe good.
Yeah.
I mean, we could hold it longer, but it'd probably chop up those chips. It looks like it chopped them just a little bit. It's okay though, because we're going to make them into balls. This is what it looks like when you're done.
It smells really good.
So you want it to hold together when you squish them, okay? So I'm going to take this blade out. Okay, so it's a little bit crumbly. That's okay. Just get this out of our way. Okay, so yeah, the scooper. I'll do the first one to show you how to do it. Sound good?
Can I try?
Sure.
So I do it.
And then just squish it to the side real tight. Okay? There you go. You know, to open it in your hand, and then you can squish it and shape it. Watch your hair.
And then,
You mean,
okay, how about
what, you want to put it in my hand? Of course, you have to start off with very clean hands for this. That was perfect.
Yeah.
And then you just take it and you just kind of squeeze it together. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay. All right, just like that. See? You can kind of make it whatever shape you want, but I found that this works really good. And then you can line this, or you can just put it in whatever kind of container you want. You want me to do another one? We'll just do a couple of them for now. Okay. Did you want to do one?
Yeah.
Can we scoop it in your hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Another little ball. Okay.
Actually,
You can do it?
mm-hmm.
Okay. That's fine. This will be the last one that we'll show. What kind of shape are you going to make?
I don't know.
It's going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
So these are packed full of great nutrition, like I said, omega-3s, for your heart health, decrease inflammation, helps with decreasing cholesterol levels, and it's just a wonderful addition to a great little snack, right?
A heart.
Oh, I made a heart. Show everybody. Look at that. That's cute. That's what we should do with the rest of them since it's Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
To show our love and make your heart healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And these are great to take to school. I just took a bunch of these to the school for a healthy snacks day, and that was so much fun. The students loved them. So this is for sure a winner recipe that you guys are welcome to make. You can add different things to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, well, thanks for joining us in our kitchen. It was so much fun. It was great to have you. Appreciate it. Happy Valentine's Day. And happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And I'm going to pass it over to Susanna. So, all right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Cody. Your bites look so delicious. I can't wait to make them. Hi, everyone. I'm Susanna Dickman, and I'm from Evansville, Indiana. You can follow me on Eat Plants Be Well online and on Facebook. So when we decided that we were going to have so many loving recipes for our February show, I knew right away what I was going to make. And this isn't a sweet. This is definitely a savory recipe. But when I want to make my husband something special, I made this for his birthday last month. I make a big pot of pozole. And pozole, for those of you who may not be familiar, is an Hispanic and native dish that my my husband grew up out west, and his mom would make a version of pozole, and she would use chicken or pork. And so I knew when we first got married that I needed to make a plant-based version of this. And so that's what I did. And we're going to use soy curls in place of our chicken or pork. So we always start out any stew with onions and garlic, right? And this one, because we want it to be spicy, we're also going to add some diced up green chili. Now, if you wanted to sub a jalapeno, you can do that. But again, because my husband grew up in the Southwest in New Mexico, if you're familiar with Hatch green chili, then you know that whenever he wants something spicy, he's going to add green chili instead of, he'll add a jalapeno too. I don't want to, just throw, not be positive for jalapenos, but his go-to is green chili, and preferably Hatch green chili. So we're going to let this, I added a splash of water. We're going to let this saute until my onions are translucent. And because, we're doing this quickly, I may go ahead and add my other ingredients even before that, because I want you to see how it comes together. But this is a really thick, heartwarming stew, but I make it in the summer too for him. It's got all the flavors that he loves. Well, the green chili, the cumin, the chili pepper, and the hominy, which I'll show you in a minute. So my onions are starting to get translucent. Now I'm going to add my spices, and I have cumin. Here I have red chili. So this is going to be, you'll sometimes see pozole as a green chili pozole or a red chili. I'm doing both. And then we have some Mexican oregano. Now, I know we've used Mexican oregano before in our recipes, but it is different from the typical Italian oregano that we're all used to. The Mexican oregano comes from a different plant that's more closely related to lime. And so that's why it just adds a little different flavor to Mexican dishes and to Hispanic dishes. So you definitely want to look for Mexican oregano. And I've been able to find it in my regular grocery store. So if I can do that here in Indiana, I'm sure you can find it. So you can see that, I like to add my spices when the onions are cooking so that they begin to absorb the flavor. And now I'm just going to add the rest of my ingredients. So I have a can of diced tomatoes. In the summer, we actually grew some tomatillos the last couple of summers. In the summer, and when tomatillos are in abundance, I may add some chopped up tomatillos too. So, to have it green or red. I'm going to add my hominy, and hominy we know is a traditional food from a lot of indigenous communities. And I just love the flavor of the hominy. It's so good. Then we're going to add some beans. You can add any kind of bean. We prefer pinto beans. So this is 2 cans of beans that were rinsed and drained. And then I'm going to add my liquid, and then I will add my last ingredient. So we're going to add 4 cups, and I had mixed up 2 cups. I used the bouillon, and this is another 2 cups of water, but you could just use a container. So you want 4 cups of vegetable broth. And then the last ingredient that I mentioned is the soy curls. And if you're not familiar with soy curls, you can check them out, Butler soy curls. But this is just dehydrated soy. And we love using this in soups and stews and stir fries just as a replacement for that texture. And it's just soy, so it's there's no additives if you look at the ingredients, and it just is really a great product. Now this is going to simmer. I'm going to let it simmer for about 30 minutes because I want all the flavors to come together. The soy curls will absorb some, the vegetable broth and the seasoning and just get very, very good. But I'm going to go ahead and just scoop out a little just to show you how hearty this is. So I'm going to put some in here and then I'll put it back to let it cook more. But I just want to show you, this is a hearty, hearty stew that everyone in your family is going to love. And you can change it in, but like I said, by adding tomatillos, adding jalapeno instead of the green chili. You could at this point, or after it cooks, add a little salt and pepper to taste at the table, which is what I prefer because I don't like to add, the vegetable broth has some sodium. But I hope you enjoy and make this pozole for someone that you love soon. So I think I'm the last one cooking today. So questions, if you have questions, please hang around for the Q&A. And again, thanks for watching our show. Have a great Valentine's Day, everyone. Take care. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Susanna. That looks really good. And lots of good questions have come in. I think Cody's joining us for Q&A. Let me grab her as well. Hi, Cody.
I'm muted. Okay, sorry. Hi.
So thanks, everybody. Looks like we got some new viewers this time and some of folks who've been with us. We've been doing this for, it'll be 6 years this May.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Time flies, doesn't it?
And let's do a quick introduction because some folks are new. So Cody, myself, and a number of others, we're all Physicians Committee Food for Life instructors. Some people who know Cody know her as a nurse teacher, and some people who know me as a math teacher. We also teach food and nutrition classes. So Cody, why don't you take a second and tell everybody, what is a Food for Life instructor?
Sure. So Food for Life instructors are people actually across the world who've been gone through a rigorous application process through the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. I think there's maybe like 350 or so. They're probably closer to 400 now, I'm guessing. But we have a wonderful curriculum that we use through PCRM. We can do online or in-person classes. They're all whole food, plant-based cooking classes, and we provide research along with the actual cooking demonstrations. And it's just it's a great way to educate people on how easy it is and healthy it is to eat this way. So.
Absolutely. The Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine is a fabulous organization started by Dr. Neil Barnard, and his book is one of the giveaways we have. I think is it this one? Let's see. I think it's this book.
Yes.
It's one of our giveaways today. So Dr. Barnard is great. He's established this fabulous organization, and it's amazing, but it's just eating whole food, plant-based, low on the food chain can really restore health and optimize one's health. And we teach classes that are evidence-based. So check it out. See if you have an instructor near you or an online instructor. So a bunch of Food for Life instructors at the beginning of the pandemic said, we can't reach our students, so can we create some sort of online presence? And we have. And that's what So Many Cooks in the Kitchen is. So all of us are Physicians Committee Food for Life instructors, and we go kitchen to kitchen. So if you're new, I hope you enjoyed it. We'd love to hear your comments, what you thought of your first show. So from this point forward, we'll take questions. There have been some really good questions, and we've been trying to answer all along. But Cody, would you be so kind as to note who asked questions at this point?
Mm-hmm.
And the first question is coming in from, well, a lot of questions are coming in. Let's take a look. at Krista. So, and something's changed in StreamYard where we're seeing your @ sign and like a code. So I think this is our friend Krista in New York, I think. So Krista C8282 says, can you use PB2 peanut butter powder in the PB bites?
Well, I guess you would have to maybe add some other liquid to your bite then too, because the peanut butter adds some stickiness to it. So you could try that, but then you'd have to figure out what can you add to it to create that to stick together a little bit. So I've never tried it with the powder, but.
And then here's a question that's come up. So Lee, cornstarch really is not a whole food. So cornstarch, the problem with cornstarch, well, I'm going to first tell you the problem, then I'm going to tell you the remedy. And this somebody else had asked that too. So cornstarch is processed. It's basically, think of the body as a temple, and what you put in the body should have some positive benefit. Cornstarch really doesn't. It's just there's no fiber, there's no nutrition. So why are we using cornstarch? I thought we said we have a whole food plant-based show. Cornstarch is fine in very small quantities. It's an amazing thickener. There's other thickeners. I think there's arrowroot powder and a few others.
Mm-hmm.
I sent a text message to Karen. Karen Osborne is really our expert at ingredients. Cody knows a lot. I think I know a reasonable amount, but Cody, I think you would agree that Karen knows more than we do about ingredients. She's an expert. She's amazing. And I asked her for her suggestions. So she's more of a stickler. She goes more of a pure path than some of the others do. We all try to be whole food plant-based, and we're all 100% vegan. But once in a while I eat food that isn't whole food plant-based, but is certainly vegan. So anyhow, Karen responded, "Hi Dilip, I just blend, if you didn't want to use corn starch, I just blend a baked Japanese sweet potato with some dates and a little plant milk or water." Oh, I'm sorry, this is a different question. This is for pudding. Okay, this is a different question. So what Karen said is that for pudding, because there was a question about non-soy puddings, and so that's how she makes her puddings, with sweet potatoes, little plant milk, and cacao powder and vanilla. Mm-hmm. But cornstarch, if you choose not to use it, again, we're using such small quantities. And Carolyn's another real expert, and she used cornstarch. I wouldn't say you're not a whole food plant-based cook if you're using cornstarch, because it's such a small quantity, and it does wonders with thickening things. So yes, Lee, cornstarch is not a whole food, but it kind of doesn't matter if you're using tiny quantities. Okay. Thanks for asking that. Okay, let's see. Here's another question from Janet Doe. Let's write her name down. Cody, you're writing all the names down?
Yep.
Okay. So can the coconut be subbed with another ingredient in the peanut butter balls?
Probably. This is the only thing I've tried so far. I haven't made these too many times yet. So I'm trying to think of what would be good in there as a substitute. You could maybe do like a different kind of seed, chopped up seeds, maybe pepitas. I guess anything that kind of make up that quantity is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. A lot of good questions coming in. Let's take a look.
Sure.
Another question. So let's see. Here's a good question. How did Carolyn get the sweet potatoes diced so uniformly? And sorry, Carolyn had to run right after her cooking, so that's why she's not here in the Q&A. I wish she were here. But how did she get it diced so uniformly? And I have a possible answer. I'm sure you do too, Cody. I'll tell you what I think. So I feel really embarrassed. I've been teaching cooking even before I was a Food for Life instructor, maybe since before you were born, Cody. I don't know. But I've been teaching cooking forever. And I'm really embarrassed because until very recently, I used to complain. I've never had a cutting class, and I don't think I'm good at cutting. And I realized that I'm actually not that bad at cutting. The thing is, I didn't have the right tool. Finally, I bought a proper knife. It's right here. I can show it to you. And I find with my good knife, I can cut things really easily, and I can do uniform cuts of sweet potato. I can dice really fine. So I think having a good knife really helps. You can use a food processor. Salad Master has a manual food processor, and you can program it for a certain size. I do know one thing I know about Carolyn is I don't know anybody who has more gadgets than she does. I've been to her kitchen. I've been to your kitchen, Cody, a number of times. And you have an excellent kitchen. So does she. But nobody has more gadgets that I know than she does. And so to get them uniform, she may have a handy dandy gadget. So I can only guess, Janet. I'm not sure why. Here was a question from Lee. What about nuts instead of coconut? That's for you, Cody.
Yeah, you can just whatever your heart desires, I think, you could even do maybe like raisins or something, some kind of dried fruit if you prefer that you think would taste good with it. So,
I'm also reminded, going back to this question about the starch and how to thicken things. I used to spend time in Hawaii. You've been there more recently than I have, Cody, but I used to go every other year. And in Hawaii, they use something called taro. It's a root, and it's very common. It's all over, and Hawaiians will tell you if you've never had it, they'll kind of say you may not want to try it. It takes getting used to. I actually like taro, purple taro, prepared. Not always, but I do like taro. And you can make a pudding out of it. It thickens nicely. So if you want to stay away from cornstarch, you can try taro or some other. What's another good way to thicken? Tapioca thickens really nicely too, but tapioca kind of changes the flavor a little bit. Okay. Do you know much about? Kathy had a question because I don't know much about resistant starches, but I'll see if you have any comments, and if you don't, I have something to say about rice.
yeah, I'm not sure about resistant starch with rice once it's cooled. I don't know. It's a good question.
That might be Carolyn posting, because I know she had to run, but she might still be. If you're there, Carolyn, hello. Feel free to answer remotely.
Yep.
I guess that's her. I think that's probably her. So I've only recently heard a little bit about resistant starches. I know very little about that. But I will say a little bit about rice. So one thing which is kind of interesting is even if you're eating all organic, which I try to do, then at least when I'm cooking, rice can have or does have arsenic in it, little bits of arsenic. And so the bad news is, especially for our friends who are Chinese and Japanese Orientals, who I think often eat rice at every meal, and even people from Indian background, they often eat a fair amount of rice, South Indians especially. The recommendation now is maybe you should eat it every day. Don't give up on rice, but maybe once or twice a week. And independently of whether you're eating brown or white rice, be careful with how you prepare rice. So eat it less often and cook it not the way you're used to with a covered lid and all, but boil it a lot. Cook it like pasta. Soak it overnight, get rid of the water, soak it, and then cook it with ample water. What I do is I keep dumping the water, adding fresh water. And that's the best way to mitigate the arsenic risk. But there is elevated arsenic risk with rice. And so if we're eating rice every day, we might want to think about maybe exploring other grains like quinoa, for example, or amaranth or something else. Let's see what other questions have come through. Okay.
What about healthy snack program?
Yes.
Why don't you talk about that, Philip?
Okay. Well, you're actually more active than I. I started it, but you
started it. You can start.
I'll make a comment what it is, and then we'll let Cody talk about what she's doing. So I came up with this idea a number of years ago for a local school here in Durham, North Carolina, where I used to teach math and cooking food. So I came up with this healthy snack program. We did some fundraising. We got some funding for this. And so a teacher who signs up will give them equipment. We'll buy them a refrigerator, an Instant Pot, plates, spoons, knives. Cody even arranged a composting service. And then the teacher agrees to at least 3 times a week prepare 2 or 3 times a week prepare a healthy snack. And we give them recipes like rice and beans or quinoa. And we recognize, I'm a teacher, I know it. Teachers don't have much time. You have, especially in the public schools, 25 kids or something like that in the classroom, and they don't have time. So we designed a program to not use much time. So 2 or 3 times a week, they're preparing these dishes for the kids. We provide all the funding for it. And then we occasionally go into the classroom. Cody does it, and I know she always gets really excited, and she always sends me a text. I'm about to go. I'm so excited. And I went, and I got to hang out with all these 4th or 5th graders, whatever it is. So my healthy snack program, we did, I think, primarily with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And that's what it is. And now we have healthy snack. It's on hiatus. And here I've become really busy, especially starting a math school. I need to rekindle that. But Cody does it in Nebraska. Merrill does it in Wisconsin. Angelia does it in southern Alabama. And am I forgetting somebody? I think I might be forgetting one more person, but we've done this in a number of schools. So if you're interested, contact me. And you can contact any of us, like Cody. If you want to contact her, you can send her an email at Cody, C-O-D-Y, at SoManyCooks.com. And me, Dilip, D-I-L-I-P, at SoManyCooks.com. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with it?
Sure. So I primarily do it for fifth graders with one teacher. And I think this is our 5th year doing it. And I'm currently just doing one classroom. Last year I did 3 classrooms, but then it got knocked back down because the principal wanted to be fair and either have it for all the grades, or not all the grades, but all the classrooms, which would have been 4, or just the instructors. So they had to just do the instructors, unfortunately. So just one, but it's still like 22, 23 kids. And I get so much joy going in there about once a month, and I bring something different each time. And their favorite thing that they love is compote, that apple cherry compote that I bring. I'll have to bring it again this year because I think they keep asking for it. But I brought those peanut butter bites last time, which was, I think, a week ago, and they just loved them. It was so good. And I brought in like keto bites, make it with chickpeas. Oh my gosh, what else have I brought? I brought like kale chips. I mean, just something that's easy to make. And then I always share the recipe with the instructor. She sends it out to the families if they want to make it at home. But it's been so much fun because, I mean, not only do I bring them the snack, but I also like talk about the nutritional aspect of it, about like eating whole food, plant-based, and the different food groups that we have to get all the nutrients that we need, and just kind of emphasize that without, putting any blame on them if they don't eat this way, because most of them don't eat this way. It's just a healthy way to get them introduced to these great nutritious snacks. So yeah.
It's a wonderful program, and I love whenever you tell me what you're doing in Nebraska. But honestly, what I love even more than that is Angelia. I don't think you know Angelia, but she's in southern Alabama. I should make the introduction. And she works with preschoolers, primarily preschoolers and kindergartners. And you should see these pictures of the kids with big smiles. And she works with groups that are generally very underrepresented and generally don't have access. They often are in food deserts. So I love the work you do, but I very much love what Angelia does. So we are happy to reach out to, if you're interested, if you're connected to your public schools or even private schools, let me know and maybe we can work with you. So I think this is Carolyn who's posting. So because Carolyn does know more about resistant starch. I remember her talking about it on one of the shows. And so I will just read what she said. And not say anything further because I don't know much about this. But when you chill, and by the way, if you want to know a lot more about this, a great website is, of course, PCRM, and I bet you we have something on resistant starch, but also Michael Greger, nutritionfacts.org is phenomenal. And maybe a little later, if we have time, say a few words about who Michael Greger is and what is Nutrition Facts. But Nutrition Facts is as is PCRM, is evidence-based. So I would go to both those websites and search there on resistant starch. But what I think Carolyn is saying is when you chill cooked rice or white potatoes, it creates more resistant starch. If you can refrigerate and eat them the next day, it'll help keep your blood sugar more stable. So I won't say anything further because I don't know much further about that. Did you want to take a second and tell us who Michael Greger is, Cody, and why we recommend him? And of course, we recommend PCRM.
Yeah. I mean, if you just go to nutritionfacts.org, he will dive into nutrition research and tell you whether it's true research or not, or whether they, the dairy industry hid their funding for it and swayed the results. I mean, he dives into all that. So you really get a true picture on what's actual true research, because that's what we want. We want everything evidence-based, and he will dive into that, and not only just dive into, but he's very entertaining when he does so.
He's funny.
He's a great guy. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. So, and his videos are nice and short, to the point, and it's just a really wonderful resource. And you can search. You can put in like, I don't know,
cinnamon.
ginger, whatever, and he'll come up with all these great little videos on it. And so it's a great resource. I share it with my students all the time. So.
He's awesome. And what he's committed to reading every English language article that comes out with research about nutrition. And then he summarizes it so anybody can understand it. You know how anything you want you can find on the internet. So, but what he has, if you find something and you want to share with your doctor, he gives the primary literature sources that you can get in PubMed, for example. And so you can help with your own healthcare providers. So Nutrition Facts is excellent. PCRM that we teach for is also excellent. And we both have very high standards of evidence base. Kathy had an interesting question, and she said, really, arsenic? Why do farmers dump arsenic in the rice? No, they don't. But the nature of it's in the soil and water. And so even if you have an organic field, it's going to have arsenic in it. Rice, there's something about rice which absorbs it. And so this became an issue a few years ago when I don't know how people noticed it. They did some checking and they found that there's significant levels of arsenic in rice. So the take-home message is rice is great. I like rice. I'm trying to figure out what to make for dinner today, and I might make rice. I probably won't. I prefer to soak my rice overnight. I'll probably go with quinoa tonight. So rice is great, especially if you're eating brown rice. But tone it down a little bit. Try not to eat rice every single day, especially if you're Chinese or Japanese and you're really used to it. And if you're South Indian, there's rice is a really staple. So see if you can find some more diversity there. Everything we do, there's a risk factor, right? And you may choose to still proceed. So you know what I have right next to me? Oh, the QR code is our recipes. So what is this? That beautiful logo. This is Buck Brand Citrus. So my heart is going pitter patter because Wednesday night I walked into my co-op on Thursday. They didn't call me. They all know me. But Triple Cross has arrived. This is the best citrus ever. And so, and after the show, I'm going to peel this and eat this Triple Cross. I love Triple Cross. It's so good. It's the perfect citrus. But by no means am I perfect. I'm not at all perfect. But you know what I start my day with is I squeeze 2 or 3 of these and I drink it. And that's not the best choice because you're leaving all the fiber behind. So I know the risks and I still do that. So that's what I'm saying about rice. Rice, ideally, you really shouldn't eat it every day, but we all take our own mitigated risks. I could imagine if you are, especially if you were brought up in China or Japan and you eat rice all the time, that might be a tough one. You might say, yeah, I really like this whole food plant-based bandwagon, but not eating rice every day might be hard for some of you. I understand that. Right. So we're just telling you like it is, and you guys decide what's best for you. And there's Meryl. Meryl's a good friend of ours. Meryl, you look like a model in that picture. I love it. I read that in the U.S., rice is often raised on land that is used to grow cotton. During big cotton growing times in the past, arsenic was used to kill boll weevils. Okay. And I didn't know that. I'm not surprised, Meryl, but I think it's true all over the world. And I know it's true all over the world, not just the United States. But that's good information. And she goes on to say, yeah, okay, that's interesting. So rice grown in other countries has a little less arsenic. Okay, interesting. I'll get rid of the QR code because you guys all have it by now. The QR code is just our link to our recipes. So I guess it's a little distracting. Okay, let's add Meryl to the questions. Yeah, I don't know, Kathy. If it's in the soil for rice, is it in all soil? I don't know. Now I'm guessing. I guess I should do some research. My guess is yes, in small quantities. I'm guessing, but there's something about rice which picks it up, and I can't tell you exactly what it is. Do you know, Cody?
Nope, I'm not a rice expert. I don't know that one.
If Karen were here, she'd know right away. Karen is an expert. You know who else is an expert at a lot of these things is Brenda Davis. I don't know if you're watching Brenda. I wanted to say thank you to Brenda because Brenda does the most amazing appendices.
Thanks,
and I don't know if you know this, Cody. If you look at the appendix and there's all these pictures and these recipes, when I tell her what our show is, she cooks them, she makes them, and she experiments in her kitchen. She gets them just right.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah. So, and by the way, Carolyn just sent me a message. That is her typing on Facebook and making responses.
That's great.
She was just asking. Maybe she's still going to join. I'm not sure. But the problem with Brenda, I wish I could just pick up my phone and say, "Hey, Brenda." So I was in San Francisco recently. I love the Bay Area, and Brenda wanted to talk to me. So my phone doesn't let me easily call Canada. She's in Canada, but I was walking around Chinatown, and she really needed to talk to me. And I said, "Well, I'm visiting, but go ahead and call." So I had a nice conversation with her while I was in Chinatown in San Francisco. But I can't easily text her. If I could, I would send her a text and ask her about that. Okay, let's see. Question is from Meryl. What was the jam you used? Okay, good question. I have a good friend. She said she's watching the show, so I assume you're there. So hi, Kate. Kate is a really nice friend of mine. She used to be my neighbor way before I was married. She and her husband, Doug, and we were over each other's homes just about every day. And now I'm also good friends with their kids who are grown up. So Kate made this jam for us at the holidays, and it's fabulous. And all it says is holiday jam. So I don't know. All I know is vegan, and I know it has some fruits in it. It tastes to me like it's maybe seedless raspberry and maybe some blackberry, but I don't know. And if you're on Kate and want to share, please do. Okay, and then Scarlett is really James. So Scarlett says, Krista said California or Indian rice is best. So anyhow, the message is try to eat less rice. And that rice you eat, try to have a whole grain rice. You know what my family does, because we've been eating brown rice for so long that my wife actually does prefer white rice. And when she cooks, she often does make white rice because she says, we're eating so much fiber and you're always cooking brown rice. For us, when I first started eating brown rice, I much preferred it. It has a much better flavor, but not that we eat brown rice all the time. White rice, it's different, so it tastes kind of nice. But nutritionally, of course, brown rice is far better. Okay, let's see. What else came through? Yep. Hi, Scarlett, also known as James. Maybe StreamYard is assigning some arbitrary information. And Leah's right that Michael Greger has so much good information. He's such a nice guy. He's just the nicest guy. He's so selfless. Yeah, and Lee, so much information. And that was with respect to PCRM and nutrition facts. Okay, how many people have asked questions? I think it's almost time to do
I got 5.
Okay. Why don't you read the names? I won't write them down since you have them down.
I got Krista, Lee, Janet Doe, Kathy Sobo, and Merle.
Okay. We're doing pretty good with time. We don't have to go to Q&A and to draw right away. So I'll give you guys another minute or two, because I actually had a few things I wanted to also talk about, unless there's other questions. Cody, I wanted to ask you about chia seeds. Chia has become pretty popular. A lot of people talk about the benefits of chia. It's a nice thickener and makes a nice pudding. Do you want to talk a little bit about your choice, culinary or nutritional benefits or characteristics of chia? Why would somebody pick chia for cooking with? What are some of your favorite things to do with it, and what are some of its benefits, culinarily or nutritionally?
Well, just so you know, I'm not a chia expert, okay? But we do use them from time to time. Like this recipe that I used them in is just a great little addition, just more added fiber, omega-3s, because I was going for heart healthy. And there's just helps lower cholesterol, manage blood pressure, reduce inflammation. And it's got a lot of fiber, like I said, and there's calcium, magnesium, phosphorus. So that can
omega-3s.
I said, yeah, that's contributes to the inflammation, lowering cholesterol and blood pressure. But there's also calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and that can help with bone density. And it can help with that fiber. Fiber helps slow down the release of glucose into the bloodstream. So that can help with diabetes management, is getting more fiber in your diet. And they're nutrient dense. So there's plant-based protein, of course, antioxidants. And yeah, that's about it. They're just wonderful. And they're kind of fun to look at. I mean, they're really cool little seeds, and you can make pudding. You can grind it up and make a smoother pudding, which is what Jonan was showing you. Like her husband doesn't like the little seeds, so she blends it up with her plant-based milk, and but it will still thicken it, which is really cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a fun little dish and fun little seed to try. So if you've never tried chia seeds, get yourself a little bag of them and see what you think.
Leah's right. So anything with fiber will really fill you. So that's why, for example, brown rice has much more fiber than white rice. All plant foods have some fiber. Animal foods, dairy, eggs, meat, zero. And so fiber has lots of benefits. And one of the benefits is it makes you feel full. So that's why we say eat from the power plate. So fruits, legumes like beans, vegetables, and grains. Eat as much as you want. Don't drink this, even though I do. But eat as many triple cross tangerines as you want. I buy this by the case. So eat all these things. You're getting so much fiber. By the way, the reason that, I drink it because I just love it so much. But when you eat it, then it's rate limiting. How much can you eat? And you get fiber because this is mostly water. And so fiber is rate limiting. And the other thing that fiber does is it helps you go to the bathroom. So no matter what food you're eating, if you're eating high quality organic foods, we live in a polluted world and we get stuff that we don't want. And just imagine when you're eating something, it goes to your digestive system and all the nutrients are taken out and then it's sitting. Do you want this garbage sitting in you for long? I'd rather visit the bathroom and flush the toilet and say bye. I don't want it sitting in me. And so fiber, and I don't think there's direct evidence for this, but I think it's suggested, and you correct me, Cody, because I think you know much more about this than I do. But I think this is one reason high fiber foods are shown to reduce the risk of cancer, because we don't have things we don't need in our body sitting around. So is that anecdotal, or is there some science behind that? It certainly suggests that.
No, I think that's what Dr. Will Bolowitz says in his fiber fueled book that I've read, that when things move through you like they should, they're not sitting against the wall of your intestines. And like the things that cause cancer are those animal-based products, and when those sit there, that's when those changes in the DNA of those cells can occur. So we got to watch out for that. So.
Okay, sounds good. And then yeah, this is interesting. So Kathy asked, where do chia seeds come from? I think they come from a flowering plant. As I recall, it used to be a staple in some of the Central Americans' diets, I think. So I think it's a New World food, but I don't remember all the other details, but it comes from some sort of a flowering plant. Okay, it looks like the questions have slowed down. I think we could probably do the draw. How many people do we have? Is your last chance to ask a question to do the drawing?
We got 5.
Okay. Any last questions before we do the draw? The way I'm going to do the draw is I'm going to, and also one other thing is if you're watching on YouTube, then there shouldn't be a problem. But we were having problems, and I can't figure it out. This has happened the last few shows. Is we got a message that it's not streaming to. There is a question that it's not streaming to Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook, then let us know that it did work. Because I know that some comments have been coming in from Facebook, but I apologize. That's why we stream to 2 different places. If you like Facebook and you're having a problem, come to YouTube. That seems to have become reliable. There is one more question, and this is from one of my students' parents. So vinegar-related questions. So yeah, the question, as I recall, that you had asked is it alcohol or not? And you know more than I do, Cody. I'll just make a couple comments. No, okay. Let me say this about vinegar: is my parents are immigrants from India, and vinegar is not an important part, except from maybe like from Goa or certain parts of India. Vinegar is not really used in Indian cooking. And so growing up, like my mom would make salads and she would never put vinegar on it. So using vinegar is a very recent thing for me. Not very recent, but I didn't grow up with it. My mom would buy dill pickles and things like that would have vinegar. So vinegar is made, I think, from grapes, and it's not alcoholic. So if you're avoiding alcohol, there's no problem with vinegar. Vinegar can be very useful in certain legumes with certain beans, with beans, because when you add an acid, it could be lemon juice. It doesn't have to be vinegar. Then it makes the nutrition from beans and legumes more bioavailable. So I know, for example, in your case, you share an Indian heritage with me. And if we look at the way we would serve dals or sambers, there's always some lemon juice, and there's some wisdom to that because the lemon makes the legume a little more bioavailable. Okay, so let's add Banu. Banu is this gentleman's name. Let's add Banu to the list. Okay, and so the show was not on Facebook. Okay. Oh, and Janet, it did finally stream on Facebook. So I'm going to file a problem report. And if you can give us any information, like it started streaming 10 minutes in or something like that, or at whatever time, let me know. Let us know about what it is. And Banu, in terms of alcohol, like in my family, we don't drink alcohol at all, like zero. But the American, and maybe Cody, you can talk about the American Heart Association doesn't recommend alcohol. But alcohol I find useful in one regard. The one regard I find useful for is deglazing pans. So if you have a hot pan and you want to deglaze, so you want to get rid of anything that sticks, put a little bit of alcohol, and the alcohol will boil away, but you're left with this little residue of flavor that cleans up the flavor of your food. So I haven't done it in a long time, but that's one use of alcohol that I enjoy. Okay, so Janice says we started streaming 10 minutes in. Okay. Did you want to say something about alcohol in the American Heart Association, Cody? No, they don't recommend it. They used to, but they don't recommend it anymore. Show is not on Facebook, and on YouTube it likes from Instagram. Okay, thank you so much, Anne. All right, so we have 6 people in the draw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me go ahead and do the draw. I'm going to go to random.org. And those of you who have some math background will know that there's no such thing as a pure random number generator using a computer. You have to use an atom that's decomposing or something. So these are pseudo-random. Oh, by the way, here's another comment. A friend came home from a SNF. I don't know what SNF is.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Oh, they call it a sniff. I think Kathy's a nurse.
What's a sniff?
It's like like a skilled facility.
Oh, skilled nursing facility. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're talking about the Indian flavors. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to draw numbers from 1 to 6. And Cody, you tell me what number that results to. So the first prize will be the Heart Healthy book. Let me actually put it up so we know what we're doing. So the first one is this one. We're going to give this Heart Healthy Plant-Based Cookbook by Jennifer Pulapaka and Hari Pulapaka. I don't know the book. It's interesting how Jennifer is spelled. So I'm thinking these guys are of Indian background. It might be an Indianized spelling of Jennifer. This book was recommended by Karen. So the winner of this, from 1 to 6, I draw number number 1. So who is 1?
That's Krista.
So Krista, you got this book, and I'll write that much down. So Krista gets the Heart Healthy. Okay. So Krista, the process here is when you win, go ahead and send a message here that you are still here, and you need to send an email to Dilip@somanycooks.com and Karen@somanycooks.com, and tell us that what your name is and what your mailing address is and what you won, and we'll get the prize to you. Okay, so congratulations, Krista. It's a good book. Let's next do a raffle or a drawing for Dr. Neil Barnard. All his books are fabulous. So his new version of the Food Bible. So let's do a drawing for that. And the winner of that is number 3.
All right, that's Janet Doe.
Janet, congratulations. I'll write that down. So Janet gets Dr. Barnard's book. Okay. And good. Krista will email Janet if you're still there. Good. Oh, she's saying that Facebook is a second or so delayed. So Janet, congratulations. Just send a message so we know you're still there. And the last prize, okay, Janet, so please send a note to us. The last prize I don't have a graphic for, but the last prize is it Veg News or the VRG magazine? It's a magazine. I can't remember which one it is.
Veg News, I think.
Okay, Veg News is a really nice magazine. Now, it doesn't speak for us. It's, I love Veg News because it talks about veganism and vegan lifestyle. It doesn't necessarily focus on health. So you'll get articles about donuts and French fries and things like that. Not that we never eat these foods, but we focus on health. So Veg News is great from a vegan perspective, not necessarily whole food plant-based perspective. Great magazine. So the winner of this, and if we draw 1 or 3 again, I'll roll again, is number 2. Who's number 2?
Lee.
Lee, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
So Lee got the Veg News. So please send us a note, Lee, that you're here. So, and then we will get you the prize. So we'll just wait a second for that. So let's start to wrap up. I wanted to tell you about our upcoming shows. So I'm really excited about next month. We are going to be doing this show. I'm so excited about this. So many, oh, and there's a typo. It should be so many of Grandma's favorite dishes. And our idea here, I think it was Carolyn's idea. The idea here, maybe it was Susanna's, is things that were done in the old days. So right now I'm thinking of, we had a show about tomatoes, and my grandfather in India, he had this favorite way of preparing tomatoes with cumin. And so I presented that, but I might present that again, but I'm aiming towards khichdi, which is a rice and lentil dish. It's, I think, available in many other cultures, like in Egypt, you get something called kosheri. So I make khichdi. Instead, it's a comfort food in India. It's common, at least in North India. But I make mine out of brown rice. And I made another batch recently, and my family loved it. I can't tell the difference between the brown rice version and the white rice version. So, and also my khichdi is unique because my mom would put potatoes in it. I don't know if that's something she invented or something in her part of India, Rajasthan, that others have done. Do you know what you're going to do for this show, Cody?
No, I don't yet.
And then I guess I don't have the graphic here, but the next show is so many Holy Trinity foods. So the Holy Trinity is a Cajun idea. Okay, thank you, Krista. The Holy Trinity foods are celery, onion, and bell pepper. And so it makes an excellent stew underlying, basis for a dish. And with my new knife, I can cut that celery and onion in. And all my ingredients really, really fine. That's what you want to do for the Holy Trinity. Okay. All right. Yeah, Kathy has a good point, because your grandma, a lot of the dishes start with bacon fat. So thank you for the suggestion. Maybe we'll take something that might be reminiscent of that and change it. Okay. Okay. So Lee, did you win? Lee did win the Veg News. So Lee, would you rather get the VRG instead of the Veg News? So let us know. We'd be glad to switch it out for the VRG magazine. That'd be no problem. All right. Any final words from you, Cody?
No, I just appreciate you guys watching today. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad that Nora was able to join me for the cooking demo part. She couldn't pop over for the Q&A. She had a birthday party to run over to, but it was so much fun. And I hope you guys will join us next month as well. So.
Yeah, and I recommend being ready to jump on either YouTube or Facebook. It's frustrating. I'm not sure why. We started the show and I was cooking, but I saw the messages that, there's some problem with Facebook. And once we start, there's not much we can do. We're not sure what's going on. And for a long time, we were having problems on YouTube. It was not being on YouTube. So hopefully you guys who are watching are available on both platforms. We used to broadcast to Twitter, and then I don't use Twitter anymore. I use Blue Sky, and Blue Sky isn't supported yet. So, but anyhow, thanks so much, everybody, especially new folks. Welcome to the show. We hope you'll become regulars, and all the old regulars. We're always glad to see you.
That's right.
So thank you so much, and send your questions if you have ideas for future shows. We haven't scheduled the rest of the year. We'd love to hear your ideas.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
So we'll see you guys next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.
So many cooks in the kitchen, so many recipes to share. So many cooks in the kitchen with meals for you to prepare. We've got fruits and grains, veggies and beans, more healthy food than you've ever seen. So many cooks in the kitchen, plant-based meals to prepare. So many cooks in the kitchen with ideas we're happy to share.